Section 2. Bruce offered no resistance, allowing the Fremen to disarm him with a surgical efficiency that spoke of generations of necessary violence. They swiftly relieved him of his few remaining high-tech gadgets. The solar array he'd affixed to his belt was immediately recognized as a potential energy source and claimed, while the rest, concussive batarangs, smoke pellets, and specialized gel explosives, were treated with suspicion and contempt. The woman, whose name was Chani, inspected a batarang, the complex aerodynamic shape deemed worthless. "Too fast," she muttered, her blue within blue eyes narrowed in an assessment that instantly recognized the weapon's fatal flaw against a personal Holtzman shield. The weapon of a fool, or a man who expects his enemy to be slow. They did not march him across the sands. They guided him through a series of almost invisible, sand-dampened shuffles, each movement calculated to avoid attracting the attention of the makers, the sandworms. He was shown how to step on the crests of the dunes, how to move without rhythm. The discipline was more rigorous than any stealth training he had ever undergone, for the penalty for failure was not capture, but planetary extinction. They led him to a sietch, a sanctuary deep within the broken rock of a colossal mesa, its entrance masked by a sophisticated, sand-blended door. As they entered, the sudden, palpable drop in temperature and the presence of air thick with recycled moisture was a shock to his desert-strained system. The Sietch Cavern, Sietch Tabr, was a marvel of subterranean engineering and survivalist culture. It was not a palace, but a living machine dedicated to the preservation of human life and the accumulation of water wealth. Bruce was escorted into a central chamber where the Naib, Stilgar, waited. Stilgar was a man of immense physical presence, his eyes holding the weariness of 1,000 desert skirmishes. Beside him stood a woman of Bene Gesserit mien, pale and formidable, Jessica, the concubine of the Duke, but here the Reverend Mother. Stilgar looked at Bruce's armored form, still encased in the heavy, half-functional suit. "This is the water waster," the Naib stated, his voice carrying the authority of one who had judged many lives. "He smells of machine and the outworlder's soft ways. He brought a great vibration and is an affront to the desert." Chani presented the disarmed utility belt and the inert batarangs. "He uses tools of speed, Naib, useless against the shield, but his suit recycles some moisture, though poorly. We calculate he has wasted 3 liters of water just by crossing the last ridge." The weight of the water debt was immediately crushing. 3 liters of water was 3 lives in the deep desert. Bruce understood the concept instantly. His mind was a Mentat-level computer, and the equation of survival, water equals life, was the only one that mattered here. He spoke, his voice controlled, modulated for honesty and respect. "I have no water to pay the debt, but I have knowledge. I can offer service." Stilgar did not even register the words. He turned to Reverend Mother Jessica. "What says the Sayadina?" Jessica's gaze was penetrating, a psychological probe that transcended simple observation. Bruce felt the pressure of her mind, a gentle, probing push against the inner sanctum of his resolve. She was attempting to use the truth-sayer talent on him, to measure his intentions, but against Bruce Wayne's mind, disciplined over decades to compartmentalize and hide the truth of the Batman. The attempt met an impassable wall of mental conditioning. His own prana bindu control, honed to resist telepathic interference and psychological manipulation, formed an effective counter-barrier. Jessica, frustrated, withdrew the probe. He is a disciplined mind, Naib, more disciplined than a mentat. I hear no lies, but I taste a terrible hidden trauma. He is not a Bene Gesserit asset, nor a guild spy. He is an unpredicted variable. Stilgar took the final critical step. He walked to the center of the chamber and produced a long, thin needle, a krisk knife in miniature, but coated in a dark, shimmering substance. It was the Gom Jabbar, the Bene Gesserit's test of humanity, but here in the Siege, the Fremen had repurposed it. The Bene Gesserit test for the Kwisatz Haderach. We test for a desert warrior. You will place your hand in this box of suffering. If you pull it out, you will live, but you will never be accepted. If you endure, we will see if your mind has worth. Bruce, recognizing the test structure from Bene Gesserit lore he had gleaned in his pre-arrival research on galactic politics, did not flinch. He recognized the fundamental choice: endure pain for a greater purpose or flee for selfish survival. He was the Batman. Survival was secondary to the mission. He reached out, and instead of a box, Stilgar produced a single sealed water bag and emptied its contents, a precious liter, onto the sand. This is the true Gom Jabbar, Outworlder. You will sit here, and for the next 6 hours, you will watch that water evaporate from the sand floor. You will feel the dryness enter your throat. You will know that the Harkonnen waste 100 times this amount every day. You will endure the terrible, slow death of this water. If you move, if you beg for a drink, if you shed a single drop of wasted moisture, you fail. Your fate will be decided by the value of your sweat. It was a test not of pain, but of prana bindu taken to its absolute limit, the total suppression of the body's most basic, driving need, water. The air in the Siege was heavy with moisture, a deliberate cruelty. The scent of the water evaporating slowly into the rock floor was an unbearable torment. The desert had devised a more insidious test than any reverend mother. For 6 hours, Bruce sat in the center of the cavern. He initiated the deepest level of his meditation training. He slowed his breathing until he took only 2 shallow breaths a minute. He used his prana bindu control to constrict his blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the extremities, slowing his metabolism to the point where his body barely demanded moisture. His training to become the master of fear had taught him to endure pain. His training to become a detective had taught him to focus. Now he focused only on the molecular structure of the sand, the patterns of the ceiling, forcing his mind away from the agonizing primal urge to drink. When the 6 hours were up, Stilgar returned. The liter of water was gone, absorbed by the rock. Stilgar knelt and placed a hand on Bruce's stillsuit-clad shoulder. "You passed. The water of life is not for you, but the test of the desert is done. You are not a soft thing. You have paid your water debt with discipline. Stilgar ordered the Fremen to bring the new gear. Bruce's heavy, high-tech suit was stripped away, the outer layer cut down for use as an emergency tent liner, the complex filters salvaged. They presented him with a meticulously crafted Fremen stillsuit. The material was coarse, the fit precise. As he donned it, Bruce felt the immediate life-giving difference, the sensation of every drop of his body moisture, sweat, urine, feces, breath, being instantly recycled, filtered, and delivered to a catch pocket near his throat. The efficiency was beyond his own technology's capacity. He was now a true ecological fighter, a human recycling unit.